Good evening, good morrow, and good night. Chris Crust, Drunken Nerd, and welcome back to Beer Here. Or perhaps it's your first time. I don't know your life story. Point is, this is Beer Here, where I talk about beer and all things nerdy that matter to me. And tonight I have something very special for my beer selection. New Belgium has teamed up with Ben & Jerry's to make a chocolate chip cookie dough ale. And this is perfect for me because New Belgium makes Fat Tire Ale, which is one of my go-to beers. And a lot of people don't know this, but after a long night of drinking, I like to wind down with a big-ass bowl of ice cream. And you might be thinking that's gross. Don't judge me. It's delicious. It's only for professionals, though. I won't lie to you there. If you're an amateur drinker, do not try and ingest copious amounts of dairy come the end of your drinking endeavor. So, before we get into the nerd talk, let's try this out. Okay, good color there. I mean, it's not very dark. Looks about standard for something you would expect to drink at your local bar, you know, like a Budweiser or any generic bullshit like that. Smell isn't very ice creamy, so let's get in here. It's actually pretty damn good. I'm not really getting an ice cream feel from it, but it's very smooth, goes down easy. You do get that chocolate chip cookie dough taste. There's, it's not very abrupt. It's not right in the front. It's kind of like on that back end. You kind of like when you eat chocolate chip cookie dough and you're kind of lounging around for a while afterwards, like you just took a big spoonful in your mouth, and you can still taste it a little while later. That's about what you get from that, which is pretty damn good considering it's beer. So, I would recommend it. Out of 10, I would give it a 7. So there you go. Try it if you're feeling adventurous. But as I said, I'll leave the after beer ice cream to the professionals. So, been a few weeks since I've gotten one of these videos out. Been working on some editing techniques a little bit. I still don't edit these videos. I want to make them longer for anybody who actually might want to listen to my ass ramble for longer than 15 minutes or so. But that's going to probably require more editing than I'm capable of, so that's what I'm working on now. And it's distracted me, along with other things, from getting these videos out. But I do want to talk about a particular movie that came out this month, came out last week, and I did see it last week. Lego Batman. Finally, a badass Batman movie has been made. And don't get me started on the Nolan shit. I'm not even going to go there with you right now. I'm going to focus on this beautiful masterpiece of cinema. I love the Lego movie. I love all things Lego. I love the Lego games. I think the humor is very clever, while not being over the top. Don't tell me that if you saw the Lego movie, you didn't get that damn song stuck in your head. Everything they do is pretty damn fantastic. And I loved Lego Batman. I felt like it was an adult movie that was made for kids. And what I mean by that is, if you're a 90s kid, you're very familiar with this idea of cartoons that were, most of the humor was beyond a child's reach. It was more for adults. There was a lot of what we call hidden jokes in there, but I don't like to think of them as hidden jokes. I think that was just the humor of the show, and it didn't need to use that humor to draw to children because it was just a bright, colorful, entertaining show. It was that drew us in. The humor was secondary. The humor was for the parents who had to sit through those shows with the kids, and for us to be able to enjoy later on rewatching those shows in life. And I feel that's what Lego Batman is. Lego Batman is something that is excellent for older Batman fans, and the kids are going to enjoy it because it is very fun, very energetic, very colorful. There's even an awesome kick-ass song in there, the best Batman theme to date. But a lot of the jokes, I mean, the kids aren't really going to get. There's a lot of jabs at the other movies in there. A lot of stuff making fun of the comics, the 60s Batman. There's a whole thing about all the villains that have existed in Batman before, and a lot of people are going to be like, are those really Batman villains? Oh yeah, they're really Batman villains. Condiment King was the thing. So, because of that, I feel like it is really an adult movie that is made for kids. It's marketed also towards kids, and kids still can enjoy it. And there's one thing that I want to point out in there that I thought was great, that maybe a lot of people aren't going to think too much about. Batman seems to be drawn at a certain point, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I guess it kind of is, so fair warning. Batman seems to be drawn to Barbara Gordon at a certain point, like that's going to go somewhere. Some of you may know that they did a animated version of The Killing Joke, and a huge uncomfortable flaw in there was having Batgirl and Batman bang it out on a rooftop. And if you're familiar with the two characters, you know that not only is there an age gap there, but Batman has played a fatherly role in Barbara's life. So, yeah, some Freudian daddy issue shit going on there. So in this movie, he's attracted to her, he's drawn to her, and I was afraid that they were going to go down that route again. Obviously, they're not going to have Lego characters bang, but I didn't want to see them wind up in a romance either. What is with these animated movies and wanting these two to get in this awkward relationship? But they point to it later on when Batman says that she is his monogamous platonic friend. I guess not monogamous, but his platonic friend who happens to be a female, and that's okay. And I thought that was really smart and clever, and yeah, good stuff. A lot of what I'm going to talk about here is going to be movie based, and I know that seems to be a common theme, but what can I say? Movies are popular. They're coming out constantly, more and more every year. I love movies. I've seen more than I care to count, and I see them. I tend to see them constantly as they hit theaters, so it just is a constant topic for me. Just tonight, I went and saw Fist Fight, which not very nerdy, but still worth talking about because holy shit, people don't think about many movies coming out around this time being great, but Deadpool kind of set a tone last year, I think, and they're really picking that up this year by still putting out some really solid movies in February. Lego Batman's great. Fist Fight was awesome. Hilarious, over-the-top humor, a lot of shock value humor, a great choreographed fight scene. The interaction between Ice Cube and Charlie Day, love both of them, and they're such polar opposites. They work so well together. Very, very badass film. But the one thing I want to talk about above that is not a film that's come out yet or that's coming out anytime soon, but Kevin Smith, one of my favorite directors and creators, one of my favorite famous people to follow. He inspires me constantly. If you ever are down and you need something to pick you up, just look at some of the quotes that he's said. Just look up some of his most notable quotes. And I tell you, the words of wisdom that pour out of this depraved, perverted genius mind. I mean, it's for me, works every time. But he, for those of you that don't know, created Clerks, created Mallrats, created Dogma, the whole Skew universe. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was one of his biggest films that was, I think, most popular with a lot of people from the 90s and early 2000s. I think that is the film that got a lot of people to watch his stuff. He's been working on trying to do another Clerks, and it's not working out. And he's been working on trying to do Mallrats series, and that's not quite working out. But he hasn't given up, and he's decided to finally do a sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back called the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is a sequel that's also sort of a reboot, I guess, where the plot is that they're trying to stop a reboot of the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, which is the best worst idea I've ever heard in my life, in that best worst kind of way that makes things amazing. And I couldn't be more excited. Those movies, to me, will always be a huge part of me growing up and making who I am. So to see another one coming out, very excited for that. I'm going to work on some editing stuff coming in the future so that I can make these videos a little bit longer. Obviously, I'm still being very rushed here with things that I talk about. I want to make them more entertaining and want to make them longer. And there's a lot of things coming up that I feel need longer time to talk about. Come March, the movie's coming out. Holy shit, talk about March Madness. Fuck basketball. Beauty and the Beast is coming out in March. We've got the Power Rangers movie coming out in March. There's some more, but I can't think of them off the top of my head right now. I'm kind of watching my time and trying to focus on that while also focusing on what I want to discuss. I want to do some talks about just Power Rangers before the movie comes out, and then when the movie comes out, I want to give you kind of an honest opinion on that for anybody that cares. So, if you're enjoying these videos, look forward to that. And if you're not enjoying them, then, hey, at least I haven't wasted too much of your time. But, thank you for tuning in. Chris Crust, Drunken Nerd. If you like what you see, share it, subscribe, whatever. And, I don't know. I want to sign out somehow, but everything that I can think of is copyrighted already. So stay drunk.